We're live at the Cape Town International Convention Centre, where the National Council of Provinces will hold its first sitting to elect its chairperson. Newzroom Afrika's Juniour Khumalo is monitoring those developments and joins us live now. It's a big morning, a big weekend. Juniour, good morning.
Good morning to you, Chaba. Indeed, it is another big day here at the Cape Town International Convention Centre. Yesterday, we were here when the National Assembly actually gathered, convened, and those members of parliament were sworn in. About 400 odd were sworn in yesterday. But we know that parliament has two houses of parliament. There is the National Assembly that convened yesterday, and today we are convening the National Council of Provinces. With me is the Secretary of the National Council of Provinces, Adv Phindela. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Can you please explain to us what is the big difference between the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces?
Thank you very much, and good morning to the viewers at home. The National Assembly is a house that is elected directly by members of the public, and the National Council of Provinces, one may say that it's indirectly elected, in the sense that the members of the National Council of Provinces are designated or nominated by the provincial legislatures. They are designated by the parties that are represented in the provincial legislatures, and therefore appointed by the provincial legislatures to come and represent the provinces in the national sphere of government. Whereas the National Assembly also elects the president, the National Council of Provinces does not participate in the election of the president. Basically, the main purpose of the National Council of Provinces is to ensure that provincial interests are taken into consideration in the national sphere of government. So the National Council of Provinces represents the interest of the provinces in the national sphere of government. In addition to that, unlike in the National Assembly, the National Council of Provinces also has 10 representatives representing local government in the form of SALGA. So all the interests in the National Council of Provinces are represented in all the spheres of government, in the provincial sphere, in the national sphere, as well as in the local sphere of government.
And in terms of the processes that are going to play out today, there are about 90 members that are going to be here today. Who's going to preside over the swearing in of these members? How many of these 90 members are going to be sworn in today?
Once again, unlike in the National Assembly, all 400 members in the National Assembly are to be sworn in. But in the National Council of Provinces, although the membership is 90, only 54 of those would be sworn in today, and those are referred to as permanent delegates to the National Council of Provinces. Those are permanent members of the National Council of Provinces. The proceedings would be presided over by Chief Justice to elect the chairperson. In fact, firstly, to swear the members in. Once the permanent delegates have taken their oath or have made their affirmations, then we proceed to the election of the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. The election of the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces is the equivalent of the speaker in the National Assembly. But in addition to that, in the National Council of Provinces, we have a chief whip of the House. It's not the chief whip of a party. It's a chief whip of all the members of the National Council of Provinces. That chief whip will also be elected today in the House.
And in terms of the NCOP, when it comes to formulating laws and basically crafting the laws of the country, take us through that process. What does it entail when it comes to the NCOP?
What the National, as I have indicated, the National Council of Provinces is there to protect and represent the interest of the provinces. So whatever law comes to the National Council of Provinces, the National Council of Provinces must scrutinize it and make sure that the interest of provinces are reflected in that particular law. We have two different voting procedures in the National Council of Provinces. We have procedure applicable to what we call bills affecting provinces, and the procedure applicable to bills not affecting provinces. Matters that affect directly provinces would be matters relating to, for instance, education, matters on which social development and so on and so on, matters on which the provincial legislatures may make laws. On those matters, we have the provincial legislatures giving their delegations direction as to how to vote in those particular matters. And the National Council of Provinces, in so far as those matters are concerned, may either reject that bill or accept the bill. If it accepts the bill, then well and good, the provinces would have given direction that that bill should be adopted by the National Council of Provinces. Whereas on matters that only national government has authority on, the National Council of Provinces may protect the interest of the provinces in so far as those matters are concerned, but it may only make proposals if they want to amend. If the National Council of Provinces wants to amend a bill, it may make proposals, but on matters that directly affect provinces, the National Council of Provinces may amend that bill, adopt it or reject it. And if it rejects it, then it's referred back to the National Assembly to deal with it. If the National Assembly agrees with the bill as amended by the National Council of Provinces, then that bill goes to the President for signature. But on matters that, for instance, if you're dealing with defense, we know that we only have one national department of defense. We don't have provincial departments of defense, for instance. On those matters, if the National Council of Provinces makes proposals to amend that bill, the National Assembly may say, yes, well, we agree with your proposals, or we don't agree with your proposals. If the National Assembly agrees with the proposals, the proposed amendments, then that bill, and it's adopted by the National Assembly, then it goes to the President for signature and assent. If it does not agree with the proposals made by the National Council of Provinces, the National Assembly may still say that, oh yes, we hear you, but we don't agree with you. We will nevertheless pass this bill even if you don't agree with us, because this is a matter that does not directly affect you in the sense of the Constitution. Then we'll pass this bill and send it to the President for signature and assent. So that's the difference between the two. There are matters that the National Council of Provinces may say, no, we don't agree with this, and the National Assembly then cannot just proceed to deal with that matter as if the National Council of Provinces has not expressed a view. We also have what we call the mediation committee. So if the two houses do not agree on a bill, that bill is referred to the mediation committee. The mediation committee consists of 9 members from the National Assembly, 9 members from the National Council of Provinces. Then the mediation committee may deal with that bill. It may agree with the proposals as made by the National Council of Provinces or as agreed to by the National Assembly, or they may come up with a completely new bill. So that's the difference between the two houses. On those matters that affect provinces directly, the National Council of Provinces, we may say that it has a veto power. It can say, no, we don't agree with this matter, and it may not proceed.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Just lastly, just on the question of, you spoke about the Chief Justice being the one who's going to oversee this program. Will we see the Speaker, who was elected yesterday, and the President-elect in these proceedings? Are they going to be sitting in these proceedings?
Well, they may attend as guests, but they are not members of the National Council of Provinces, because in terms of the Constitution, except for special delegates, we may not belong to two houses. So the Speaker is a member of the National Assembly, is not a member of the National Council of Provinces. The President has, I assume that he has resigned as a member of the National Assembly after being elected, and is not a member of the National Council of Provinces. But of particular importance is that the President also takes questions or account to the National Council of Provinces.
No, thank you so much. That is the Secretary of the NCOP, Advocate Phindela. They're just explaining the difference between the National Assembly, which we saw convening yesterday when the individuals, the MPs, were sworn in. About 400 of those were sworn in yesterday. But today, the NCOP is going to meet. And as he has rightfully explained, there are about 90 of those members that are going to be sworn in today, Masichaba. 54 of those are going to be permanent members that are going to be sworn in. And then the 36 of the members are going to be special members who come from various provinces, who are the premiers at some points of those provinces, who are going to be sitting in that NCOP, Masichapa.
Thank you very much, Junior. And that, of course, is Newzroom Afrika reporter Juniour Khumalo, who is at the Cape Town International Convention Centre, where the National Council of Provinces will hold its first sitting today to elect its chairperson.